Jocelyn Benson, the corrupt Secretary of State from Michigan, now in trouble. She's announced she's going to be running for governor, and she did that announcement in a problematic location. And now the Attorney General of Michigan has busted her. And her name, of course, is Dana Nessel. State of Michigan Department of Attorney General wrote this summation explaining that Benson violated the law. And Benson is also in other trouble because now she's facing impeachment proceedings brought against her by the House state Republicans in Congress there in Michigan. So if you recall, Jocelyn Benson, this woman here, was very scandalous in the 2020 election and the 2024 election. We've been watching her constantly change the election manual. She runs the Secretary of State's office. Now she wants to run the whole state. She's running for governor, and she might be being taken out by Dana Nessel, who is saying, I might also want to be running for governor. And we got this battle that is a brewing. But Jocelyn Benson, she changes the election manuals. And remember, one of the things that she wanted to do was to create the presumption of validity for signature checks, which means you don't check anything. You just presume it's valid. That's what presumption of validity means. And they said, you can't change that. You actually have to check it. You don't presume it's valid and move on. You presume it is not checked or not valid, then you check it, then you move on, right? These little nuances, which are basically giving entire swaths of campaign workers or election poll workers at the time an opportunity to just change or allow votes to come through without checking them. So she got sued. In 2024, she got stopped on that a couple times. But in the 2020 election, she was doing the same thing, changing a bunch of stuff around, just like Jena Griswold. And the rest of them were manipulating the elections in that position, Secretary of State's positions all over the country. So now she's running for governor. She did such a great job as the Secretary of State delivering things for the Democrats that now she is working her way up. But she's been busted. You can see here, she faces impeachment resolutions now over her corruption concerns. And this came out specifically from the Michigan House Republicans. This guy's called Representative DeSantis. He announced articles of impeachment against Secretary of State Benson. Said today held a news conference, this was last week, introducing these articles of impeachment. Says, as a legislator and lifelong Michigan resident, it's my belief that we're dealing with the most lawless Secretary of State in Michigan history. Said not only has she flaunted numerous Michigan laws, but Michigan courts have ruled against her on 7 separate occasions. She's terrible. Articles cite numerous instances in which Benson violated the state and federal laws, where she abused her authority and disregarded rulings by the Michigan courts. In a very important swing state, we have these Democrat operatives who were coming in there, changing everything to deliver them indefinite victories. Article 1, abuse of authority and legal violations for Jocelyn. Issued election guidance and mandates beyond her statutory authority. Constantly, we covered many of these cases. They try to manipulate the rules at the margins with that little rule change, presumption of validity. Oh, you mean I check it? No, you just presume it's valid. Oh, so you don't check it at all. Donated $82,000 to a judicial candidate through her PAC before a case involving Benson appeared before the Supreme Court, paying off the judges. Unreal. Unilaterally banned open carry near polling places. The Congress or the legislation was never passed to prohibit that, which is meaning it's unlawful. Unilaterally also violated election law by presuming the validity of absentee ballot signatures, right? There you go. The presumption of validity. It's just presumed it's good because they signed it. And they're honest Democrats. Urged certification of the 2020 election despite serious concerns about the Wayne County canvass process. Helped to steal 2020. It's fine, everything's fine. And Article 2 also comes in. Mishandling and destruction of election records. There are also alleged discrepancies between the electronic and paper voter records. Ordered deletion of electronic poll book data only 7 days after certification. Get rid of the evidence. Violating federal law and required a 22-month retention period. They deleted everything because they stole it. And intimidation of local officials. They pressured local boards of canvassers to certify election results. They directed a local clerk to halt election duties without any legal grounds. Even Secretary's attorney for Benson admitted in open court that she will only follow the laws she deems constitutional or agrees with, because she's a maniac. Says her job is to enforce the law. She doesn't interpret it or rewrite it. Since the Michigan Supreme Court and the Attorney General won't hold her accountable, it's up to the legislature to act, so we will. This is a matter of accountability, transparency, and the integrity of our elections. If the people of Michigan are going to trust our democratic process, we must ensure that those in power are held to the rule of law. And by the way, we have the same problem in Arizona. We had our governor, Katie Hobbs, who was our Secretary of State, who rigged that election, and then she ran for governor, and then rigged that election and won. Same thing that's happening here. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is standing up the entire infrastructure, and she'll run for governor, and maybe win, because she's rigged the system there. Now, here is what the state rep had to say about these articles of impeachment that have been filed.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today I'm introducing House Resolution 118, which are articles of impeachment against Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. As a legislator and lifelong resident of the state of Michigan, it is my belief that we are dealing with the most lawless Secretary of State in Michigan history.
Wow. True. I think that's probably
Not
true.
only has she flaunted numerous Michigan laws, Michigan courts have ruled against her in seven different instances.
Sorry about that.
Even Secretary Benson's lawyer has stated, when questioned in open court, that the secretary will obey only the laws that she deems constitutional or that she agrees with. The impeachment resolution contained 3 articles. Article 1.
All right, we already read all that. Didn't realize he was just going to read his press release. Let's see.
Article 3 of the impeachment resolution